18, so maybe we're snapping the streak around day 18 or 19. From there, we'll trend drier and sunnier into the weekend. Here's a look at today. You see the hour by hour keeps the cloud cover in play, with our highs in the upper 60s close to 70. Again, yesterday was 74, so you will notice the difference here, and the average high also 74. But not a bad day, even if we are running cooler and cloudier. Tonight, mostly cloudy and cool. Our temperatures tomorrow dropping another couple degrees. That means many of us land in the upper 60s with mostly dry conditions. Showers around both Wednesday and Thursday, with temperatures staying cooler. Then we'll dry out and warm up into the weekend. I love it. I love you too.
I love you.
But I love it on the sunniest days. I ride on Saturday and Sunday. Yikes. So I'll send it over to you.
LIE West, right here, exit 51. We do have an accident, something you are not going to love. You can see traffic is just crawling through that area. Deegan going north, 138th Street. We were going to have some pictures here of what was going on in the Deegan. It looks like the chopper is having some issues there. Then we are talking about this problem on 280. Let's go back to that. 280 East, exit 5, accident with injuries. And then 17 South at Highland Cross, that is an accident, and that's in Rutherford. The FDR Drive northbound ramp to 42nd Street is closed. This is because of the UN General Assembly. We do have Lindsay Tuckman in Road Cam 7, and she's going to give us some more information on the UN General Assembly and that gridlock that we can expect. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Heather. Yeah, it is going to be a busy week for you in the studio talking about traffic because it is a gridlock alert day, and it will be throughout the rest of the week as more than 140 world leaders descend onto New York for the UN General Assembly. So take a look at what we're dealing with already. It is very early, so not a lot of cars on the road just yet, but we're already seeing some traffic picking up. This is 2nd Avenue right now. You can see the cones, you can see the barricades, and you can see the NYPD vehicles as well as officers set up to guide people where they can and can't go. So drivers should expect extensive street closures and delays throughout Manhattan as these world leaders move in and around the east side here. Specifically, of course, the UN is along 1st Avenue. So 1st Avenue is certainly where you're going to want to avoid between 42nd and 48th. And then certain streets leading into 1st Avenue will be closed altogether as well. For instance, we're passing by 45th Street right now, which is closed if you're trying to get between 1st and 2nd Avenues, and that's just an example. I'll try to turn the camera here a little bit. You can see that there are police officers and barricades blocking that section of the road. So what can you expect from this week, and particularly from today? President Biden expected to arrive this afternoon. He will be holding meetings throughout the day today before addressing the entire assembly tomorrow morning. Also expected to speak Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, among others. But of course, those three, all leaders whose nations are currently amidst crises that'll be dominating conversations and speeches for the assembly this week. But also we are expecting protests given the global conflicts that are going on. So that will really add to the security presence. The UN security has cameras everywhere. There are UN officers, there are NYPD officers everywhere, Coast Guard ships in the East River, NYPD drones in the air, and more. So back here on the ground, you can see people are walking around, but there are already a lot of cars in the area and these barricades. So really avoid the east side of Manhattan if you have the option to do so. Bike lanes are open, so that is an option, but there will be a very heavy presence of police officers in this area, so it may be worth avoiding it, and certainly take the train if you have the option to do so. Live on the east side, Lindsay Tuckman, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Great job to you and Heather, Lindsay, for getting us around that mess. Appreciate it. Federal authorities are now investigating interim NYPD Commissioner Thomas Donlan, just days into the job. It's just the latest development in a series of recent probes surrounding members of Mayor Adams' inner circle. Eyewitness News reporter Phil Tate joins us from police headquarters in Lower Manhattan with the details.
Interim Police Commissioner Thomas Donlan has only been on the job for a week and is now under investigation by federal authorities after he says that his home was searched and that documents were seized. So he is now leading the largest police force in the nation following the resignation of Edward Caban, the Interim Police Commissioner, now added to the growing list of city officials who are under investigation by authorities. Now, law enforcement had executed the search warrant at his Upper East Side residence after receiving a tip that he had retained classified documents documents from an investigation during his time with the FBI. Well, right now it's still unclear what these documents pertain to, but Donlin says in a statement, they took materials that came into my possession approximately 20 years ago and are unrelated to my work with the New York City Police Department. Now, Donlin says that this is not a department matter and that they will not be commenting on this issue. Important to note, as for the other city officials who have had their homes raided as well as their electronics seized, no one has been indicted. We are live outside of police headquarters this morning. I'm Phil Tate, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Our thanks to Phil for that. This morning, police are investigating how a man died on the Upper East Side. Officers say that they responded yesterday afternoon to a 911 call for an assault on East 95th Street. They found a man unconscious with injuries to his chest and neck and pronounced dead at the scene. Police say a second man was also at the scene, a 27-year-old victim with cuts on his body. He was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Police say they found 2 knives during their investigation. So far, no arrests. The FDNY says a mother and a child suffered major burns after a lithium-ion battery cell phone charger caught fire inside their apartment on the Upper West Side. This was the scene around 9:30 last night on West 60th and West End Avenue. No word yet on the victim's conditions this morning. Dozens of people were forced to leave their homes yesterday after a big explosion when a gas valve ruptured in the Bronx. Officials responded to Bedford Park Boulevard because there were also reports of gas odors and fumes yesterday morning. It took hours for crews to make repairs, and the massive leak shut down surrounding streets. The loud boom from the explosion caused panic at a worship service nearby.
I just heard this loud screeching noise. I just saw all of the people from the church just running, and this manhole in the street, it was unreal. It looked like something in the movies.
Neighbors eventually were given the all clear and let back inside their apartments. First responders treated 5 patients. 3 of them were taken to the hospital for their injuries. The cause of the explosion is under investigation. Vice President Kamala Harris raised $27 million at a fundraiser in Manhattan yesterday. It is her biggest haul since she announced that she was running for president. Harris says that she's going to offer details of her economic vision Wednesday during a speech in New Hampshire. She also says Donald Trump should agree to debate her on CNN. But he's saying that's not happening and that this will be his last presidential bid, no matter the outcome.
I think that will be it. I don't see that at all. I think that hopefully we're going to be successful.
A new NBC News election poll shows Harris ahead of Trump by 5 points nationwide. But Trump outpolls her on a couple of key issues for his stance on immigration and the economy. 7:10 right now, New York City's former COVID czar is in hot water after admitting to attending public parties while everyone else was on lockdown. Coming up, what lawmakers are planning today in response to the scandal, and how New York City will honor a sanitation worker tragically killed over the weekend on the job in Queens. Eyewitness News here on ABC 7 New York will continue right after this.